So in this video, what I'm going to be doing is creating a way to keep track of the revision number that you're on in Airtable. This is in a creative production workflow, or creative asset production workflow. And in here we have tasks. You could also call these deliverables, but in this it's just called tasks. What we want to do is we want to keep track of the number of revisions that we make to an asset. And if you haven't met me before, my name is Ben Green. I create systems like this for our clients all day long. So I'm creating this one for a demo. I just wanted to show you how I'm doing it. So if I come in here and create a number, this is going to be number of revisions. And the key thing this is going to trigger off of is the status field. So it either needs assigned to do, it's in progress, or it's in review. I basically want to know the number of times it goes into review. Maybe we even call this revision number just to simplify it. So how we want this to work is, if I think about the logic, something comes in, it gets assigned to be, or it goes into review once. That means it's on revision number 1. If it goes into review twice, that means it's on number 2, so on and so forth. So let's come in here and add a formula. Revision number plus 1. This field is needed. I usually call this a dev field, so just because it's on the back end of this. Let's see, revision number. Okay, so let's go into the automation and say view date. So we're going to say on the tasks, when the status is review, update the record on the tasks with the record ID from the triggering record, update the revision number field, change this from static to dynamic using that little settings wheel, and then search for our field. So just pasted that in there, and that's how it's going to work. So let's turn that on and go see how this works. So this one was already in review. It's not going to work retroactively. It will only work on new records that meet that condition, or that newly meet that condition. So let's throw that one in review, that one in review, and that one in review. Sweet. So now this one it now needs edits, and then we're going to send it back into review. We're going to say this one also needs edits, and then it goes back into review. And this one needs edits again, and it goes back into review. So this one should be 1. This one should end up being 3. This one should end up being 2. If this works right. Yep. Sweet. So now we know number of revisions. Later on, if we want to see, like, I don't love some of this. Let's see. Well, let's just look up what their role is. Looks like I must have accidentally assigned, let's say, Casey's right there. If I look at this by designers, I want to see the average number of revisions. So that's close. If this said 0, okay. So let's see. If now I can use this as an average to show number of revisions, but I think actually this one is going to be better because I only want to show, like, this one they haven't submitted one, so it's not complete, so I don't really know how many total revisions it's going to be. But now I can see, okay, on average Casey only has 2 revisions, on average Avery also has 2 revisions. But if this said like 4, well, Casey has on average 3. If this said 5, now his average is 4. So I could see it that way, or I could go to the assets table and I could see a roll-up field of our tasks and say average number of revisions. And if you don't want the NaNs, you can say if average 0. Well, actually, let's say, yeah, 0. And I don't know if that's entirely accurate because I'm checking number of times it went into review. So maybe I actually do need that field. So if I go into the trash up here, I can say restore that field on the tasks table. Say revisions -1. And then the number of revisions is the number of times it went into review -1. So I can see, okay, on average, this one, every time we request that, people mess it up. So maybe that gives us an area where we can go work on it. So that's pretty cool. Next, what we're going to be jumping into is seeing how can we create timelines around this. So how can we track timelines of like, this was started, this was when it was ended, and maybe like a estimated number of, level of effort kind of thing. So if you want to watch that, click the video on the end screen. I think in the next video, I'll probably give a link to the base if you want to see the base and get a copy of it. So click the next video, and you'll be able to go watch how I do the date comparisons.